Well, we now come to the Best Novella Award, and novellas need markets to publish them, and growing magazines are important to the field. And no. And as many of you know, in an attempt to keep the history, I'm really on a history thing here, the history of the field, Pirate Writings has just changed its name to Fantastic Stories. It's a proud companion to Amazing Stories. And I did speak to Ed McFadden, who's the editor of the reincarnated Fantastic. He wanted me to know the name is not the only thing that he is changing with that. He wants to really keep with the traditions of Fantastic Stories. So he's going to attempt to incorporate in himself the attributes of former editors and publishers of that magazine so that he really keeps the history of the field going. So you'll be seeing in the future from Fantastic Stories the lofty business standards of Sol Cohen, the speedy turnaround time of Ted White, and most importantly, the cheerful, boyish optimism of Barry Malzberg. So that's what we have to look forward to in the future of the field. Now, back in '66, the first Best Novella Award resulted in one of the few ties that SIF had. It was between The Saliva Tree by Brian Aldiss. Yes, Brian. I don't know these people who burn out young, and I don't know. And He Who Shapes by Roger Zelazny. And once more, I ask, remember, you're not just getting an award, but a place in history in the field. So some of the works that we have honored in the novella category include The Last Castle by Jack Vance, Dragon Rider by Anne McCaffrey, The Boy and His Dog by Harlan Ellison, Ill-Men Lankmar by Fritz Leiber, Death of Dr. Island by Gene Wolfe, Born with the Dead, Robert Silverberg, Houston, Houston, Do You Read? By James Tiptree Jr., The Persistence of Vision by John Varley, and Another Orphan by John Kessel, who will be presenting this year's award. And I want to tell you something about John, wherever he is, wherever John is around, he's hiding. Oh, there you are, there you are. I'm glad that you're here tonight. One of the few people I'm able to look up to here in the field. One of the very few, but I want to warn you about John, and you all know about John, but I was thinking, and I realized Paul is not really solely responsible for the death of science fiction aid. I do have to relieve him of some small amount of blame because let me tell you about John Kessel. I published a story of his at the end, and afterwards I find out, oh yeah, I killed Galileo when I sold them a story, and he gives me this whole list. I published a story ages gone, so I want to do this tonight in front of all the other editors here to warn them about the effect that man's work has, because I do not want to be responsible for another editor in my shoes shut down in an early youth, young prime, and it's over. So I just want you to be aware of that. So actually, I love John very much, but I'm seeing other writers on the side, though. So John, can you come up here? Don't try to leave.
What I want to know is, did you know the magazine was going under when you bought that story from me? Yes, I'm John Kessel. It is my honor. They discriminate against tall people. They have these things way down here. It's my honor to present the 1999 Nebula for Best Novella, which, as you know, I won myself in 1982. So knowing how nervous the nominees can get waiting for this announcement, I want to get on and award the thing. But I couldn't let the moment pass without noting that this is the next to last nebula of the millennium. No, I did not say the last nebula of the millennium. Even though it is the year 2000, tonight we are awarding the 1999 nebula. So the same story can win the 1909 nebula and the 2000 Hugo Award. But that's one of the charming historic quirks of SFWA that has made this writers' organization a laughing... that has made this writers' organization storied in song and story all over the planet. And because of SFWA's SFWA's rolling eligibility system, Next year, we may end up giving the 2001 Nebula to a 1999 story, if there is a next year. Because even if this were the 2000 Nebula we were giving, it wouldn't be the first Nebula of the new millennium, because, I mean, who do we think we're fooling? This real millennium hasn't arrived yet, not until 2001. Now, I may not be known as a high-tech writer, but I'm not convinced all these computers are going to take kindly to adding that 1 at the end of the year. And let me reassure you, living in North Carolina, as I do, I certainly haven't sold my automatic rifles or my Teflon-coated ammunition. No siree, Bob. And I'm still working out daily on the standing bicycle powering the electric generator. Thank you very much. And the bunker, of course. Sue would have come with me here this weekend, but she's still pumping out the bunker from the last hurricane. As if I'd bring her to the Sin City where politicians fool around with their employees to the point where their nether regions are all dried up. Excuse me. As I say, having won the Nebula Award myself in 1982, so far inexplicably the only Nebula I have won, I realize that the novella form has an illustrious history, as Scott has been telling us a little bit about. The length of the novella has traditionally allowed a depth of characterization unachievable in the short story, and yet a dramatic concentration unavailable to the novel. Some of the greatest stories of all time have been novellas, from The Man Who Would Be King to The Turn of the Screw, outside of our genre, and within the genre, The Time Machine, Universe, Baby is 3. So you nominees out there sweating bullets through your expensive silk shirts, just remember the giants whose monstrously big shoes you're attempting so pitifully to fill. I mean, just look at the previous winners in the novella category. Scott has mentioned some. Behold the Man by that Brit Moorcock. Boy and His Dog by Don Johnson. Ill Met in Lonkmar by Fritz Leiber, Born with the Dead by Robert Silverberg, Houston, Houston, Do You Read by James Tiptree Jr., R&R by Lucius Shepard, Beggars in Spain by the Cress Babe. The Saliva Tree by that other Brit, what's his name, Addled, Oldest, and the list of writers who've won, Gene Wolfe, John Varley, Arthur C. Clarke, Connie Willis, Jack Vance, Kim Stanley Robinson, James Morrow, Joe Haldeman, Greg Bear, Roger Zelazny. To which illustrious list we will add our winner tonight. So without further ado, this year's nominees for the 1999 Nebula Award for Best Novella are... Did I mention that I won a Nebula? 1982, it was, 1982. It was in New York, here, down... In fact, the, you know, I think we're having the leftovers from that meal. The nominees for the 1999 Nebula for Best Novella are Reality Check by Michael A. Burstein from Analog. The Astronaut from Wyoming by Adam Troy Castro and Jerry Oltian, also from Analog. The story is probably about the same length as the story Another Orphan, which won the Nebula in 1982. The Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang from Starlight 2. Living Trust by L. Timo Duchamp from Asimov. The Executioner's Guild by Andy Duncan from Asimov. And The Wedding Album by David Marusek from Asimov. And the winner is there an envelope here? Do I have an envelope? Oh, okay. So, I always wanted to be Johnny Carson, you know, when he did Carmack, you know, did that thing. He also tore the envelopes at the end like this and then blew them like that. Yeah. The winner for Best Novella is The Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang.